Hi, I'm SantyDark from STJ Records, and this is the making of Code Cyberthreat Episode 2. This is a melodic/progressive death metal project inspired in two of my favorite bands of this genre, which are Scar Symmetry and Solution 45. The first album was uploaded on 2017. It had a very different direction back then. It was still melodic death metal on its core, but it had video game melodies and sounds. It was a mixture of everything I wanted to do music-wise, but trapped behind the subgenre bars. In other words, I didn't really know what I was doing. Much less what I wanted to do. But I really liked this album, even more back then, when my production skills were at its very beginner state. So, soon after uploading the first album here on YouTube, I started working on more songs, using the same mixing and production with the goal of making a part 2. But I started to get more exigent with my music, and I started to pinpoint more and more flaws while working on part 2. So I ended up having like 3 or 4 extra songs before I gave up and just started working on something else, like different things. This was still on 2017. From that point, I tried many times to work again on part 2 with new and fresh modernized production. During that period of time, I composed even more songs, with those being very hit and miss. Some of these older songs are uploaded to the channel, some others aren't. Every time I tried to get back to work on the project, something felt wrong. In some cases, the production didn't end up being what I was looking for. In some other cases, I had lost the direction for the composition of the songs. And then AI started being a thing. I looked into the name of the project and realized, oh, the name is Code Cyberthreat. It pretty much sounds like a Terminator movie title or something. Then I created the cover art for the album, and when I looked at it, I immediately knew what to do with the music. So, I uploaded on YouTube the second finished song called Emotionless, and none other than Ola Englund listened to it on stream, and he really liked it.
Ooh, this reminds me of Threshold, the band. That clean section. Vanden Plas, anyone?
That by itself was already pretty great, was pretty great news to me. So I worked on the third song and once again uploaded here on YouTube, and the reception was pretty good overall. Pretty positive comments on that one. At that point, I knew I had something that was worth putting my time and effort on. Melodic death metal, progressive death metal. It also has some industrial stuff because it has some electronic sounds. At this point, I don't really know how to call it. Please, metal expert, help me out with this one. As I said in the backstory, the identity was never clear until just recently. 2 years ago, I created my other project called Ascendi that had a more modern, technical, progressive concept with a more mysticism approach for the lyrics. Basically, Ascendi ended up being more experimental, while Cold Cyberthreat is more classic, raw and direct. And for the video game elements that the first Cold Cyberthreat album had, I created my other project called Darkness. So now Cold Cyberthreat can stand on its own with its own identity. Vocals are a mix between growls and cleans. The verses are mostly dominated by growls, while the clean vocals appear on the choruses. There are electronic keyboards and sounds on most of the songs. These are not really melodic though. Some of them are, but most of them are percussive or aggressive, just to emphasize the theme that we have going on with the album. What we have here is an album that brings some post-apocalyptic topics to the table, such as robotic consciousness taking over humanity, AI, and that sort of stuff. The song Chorus of the Fractal Illusion, it's almost like a ballad, talking about the current state of humanity, now that AI is pretty much everywhere and everyone hates it.
You brace it then and you miss it now. That is lost forever. All the differences, the overdoses. Now it's lost forever.
When it says you praise it then and you miss it now that is lost forever, it's talking about the human essence in art. Everyone is now suspicious about everything they watch or hear. People try as hard as they can to spot any sign of AI manipulated elements in music or in any sort of art, now that they barely can. But they get obsessed with it because they know that we are going to reach a point where we are not going to be able to tell the difference anymore. I think this song might be the most powerful, meaningful song on the album, but everything else is not trying to be anything serious really. The topic is just an excuse to write some cool heavy metal music. That's my goal at least. I had a very specific goal in mind for the production of this album. A sound that is a mix between the first Solution 45 album called For Eons Past and the third Scar Symmetry album called Holographic Universe. I must say that I'm pretty happy with the results. The production was pretty much the main reason why I got motivated to start working again on the project and finish the album. I left some pretty big dynamics on the low end on purpose to make those rhythmic guitars pop out and jump during those heavy chunky riffs. So yeah, overall the mix, it's kinda saturated as well because I wanted to emphasize the aggressiveness of the topic and stuff. So it's a pretty loud mix with a lot of dynamics on the low end for the rhythmic guitars, and yeah, it's a pretty powerful rhythmic kind of mix overall. The song list and the release date. Let's see. So I cannot give you a release date as is right now. At the time I'm currently recording this video, I didn't even register the album on the distributor yet, but I will. And I can promise you that it's going to be released pretty soon. Maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks approximately. The album is gonna have 8 songs and a total length of 42 minutes. We have Sci-Fi Reality, Emotionless, Quantum Parallax. The second and the third song were already released here on YouTube, so you can check those out if you wanna know how they sound like. Then there's Techno Transcendence, Cold Metallic Ground, Nexus Meltdown, Chorus of the Fractal Illusion, and Proximity to Oblivion. The 8th song was already uploaded here to the channel as well, but with a different production, a different sound overall, a different idea and concept for this project. Back then, during that time period that I talk about, when everything was still on development. So this is almost like a remake of an older song. So yeah, it was actually super interesting and fun to bring back an older song and transform it to the new concept and the new sound that the album currently has. Alright, that's everything I have to share before this album launches, so I hope you guys are excited about the album and see you in the next video. Bye!